Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you tuning in once again. So we are on our video series. This is video number 2 on the Moebius 72 F350 4x4 tow truck. So we are doing a series in this from start to finish. Like I mentioned, this is video number 2. If you have not catch video number 1, go check that out and we'll get started on this. So other than that, in this video we are going to get the engine final assembly and get it installed into the frame. So other than that, try to get some tires put together, and so we can get that part done, wrapped up. And then afterwards, we'll move on to the back of the truck and get that into some color as well. Time permitting, we're not sure if that's going to be this video or the next. We will see. But other than that, the truck comes from Motow, so go down and check out his website. Check out availability. I know these things went fast everywhere, so you may have to be patient and put your name on a list, you know, like the first time around. So just how it goes. Other than that, let's go to the bench and get started on this bad boy, and we'll see how far we can get on it. Alright guys, so from previous video we did the black wash on these rims here with the Tamiya panel line. I don't know, I like them, but they still look kind of chromish. Maybe I might paint these like a stainless steel just to get rid of that chrome look. I don't know, I'm not feeling them. We'll see. We'll think about those in a minute. So we got to get our tires cleaned up, and other than that, engine has dried, so I used the fuel filter basically for my to hold it while we painted it and all that good stuff. So I told you guys I didn't wash this, so you can see, like I say, a lot of these Moebius kits are really has a lot of like grease or like release mold oil or whatnot. So you can see right here it wanted to separate the paint a little bit, and lacquers, it doesn't bother it so much, but when you put enamels on, enamels are very prone to, you know, walk away from grease or anything like that. So you gotta be real careful with that. Because when I painted the air cleaner cover, I give it a couple shots, but you can see it kind of walked away from the edge, that sharp edge right here. Not a big thing. I don't think I'm going to worry about it. Other than that, I have to repaint it, and for what it is, that little bit, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But so yeah, so frame is all done for now, so we'll set him to the side and we'll get this assembled. So at this point they're wanting us to finish the engine up so we can get the manifolds put on. We're going to paint this filter assembly in white, and then we have to paint the oil filter, which goes onto the side of that also gets in white. Put the coil on, the carburetor, and all that good stuff. So the carburetor they give you is very basic, very generic. I mean, the carburetor is like, it looks like the little 2-barrel Motorcraft carburetor that they've used for years. So I painted these in the MCW. This is the carburetor green gold. This was painted in, I thought I was going to drop it on the floor. This guy here, 1412E. Pretty cool looking stuff. It looks really nice. I painted them silver first, put a silver base down, and then went across and painted it. So I did a resin print and printed myself off a nice holly. Get this guy here. So I may replace it with this one. I'm not sure yet. It looks cooler, but I don't know. The air cleaner I'm probably not going to take off, so I don't know if I want to waste the holly on it or not. Because that is kind of cool looking, the old double pumper. So yeah, we may set that to the side. So like I say, we're going to get all this assembled, and I'll bring you guys back once I get the engine done. Because like I say, everything is painted up on it, so we should be pretty much good to go. Alright, let me get this together, and I'll bring you guys back on it, and we'll see how she looks. Alright guys, so we got the engine all assembled. So there we have it. The old Moebius 390. So those manifolds were done in dark iron. Flat white the filter. Silver actually on the bottom of the fuel pump, just Sharpie marker. Transmission, all that, flat aluminum. So got a little PCV pipe on the back there. That's why the other reason I didn't want to put the Holly carburetor on there, because you really can't see that one that's on there anyways. So we're just gonna leave it at that. So at this time I figured it'd be a good time to put the decal on. So we get this guy put on. Probably easier doing it now versus doing it once it's in the vehicle. So I debated on the rims, and I think I'm gonna do is take and paint them with like a brushed steel or stainless look or something like that. I think that'd look the best. So I probably should dechrome them first, just to make them look a little better. Probably gonna be on hold for that for right now, And I think from that point we'll start on the interior and get that cab painted. So the cab's going to get done in white. So what we're going to do is white primer it first. And there's a pretty harsh line right here. So we sanded that down, got that out of there. And they had some marks here that stuck out, so we got them sanded down. So what we're going to do is take this in and wash it. Just make sure everybody's good to go. And same with the hood. Get the hood done. Now the back of the wrecker, being I'm doing this in white, that needs to be done also in white. So obviously hindsight, I probably should get that painted as well. These pieces here. Take these out of the bag so we don't have no glare. So anytime I'm going through any model kit, I always obviously kind of browse through the whole kit just to see what's additional that's going to be painted on top of the already painted items that we're doing. So I'm also going to do the boom and everything in white, just to keep it all the same. So anything that is involved with that, we're going to do that as well. So I'll have to go through some of these parts and look at some of the numbers, because obviously I don't know what is all for what here. I'm assuming these pieces here, so I want to do those in a gloss white. I think that looks super cool. So we've got these hooks here, these clevises. Probably going to do those in red, same as the hooks. I'll do those all in a nice bright red and kind of run with that. I know this is the top piece here, that's probably going to be in white. I'll have to kind of look and see what else we have for the other parts for the boom. Other than that, we're going to do is get this primered. Now we're going to primer the interior, my custom flat black here. And now we're going to do it with my mix that I like to do. We're going to do red interior on this. Like I said before, guys, I like to do dull red Tamiya LP18 and flat red LP79, and like to mix the two, and it gives me that kind of the cool. I'm sure there's that colors out there somewhere, but this way I can kind of customize it to whatever I think looks cool at the time. And that's probably ready to go by now. So I've been here talking. Oh yeah. So look at this guy in here. Looks pretty good there. Alright, so that's going to wrap up the engine. So now we can get that put into the chassis. So we'll get that started right now, get that done. So we get this guy back over here. So we have our radiator, they're wanting that put in along with this. And I have our drive shaft for the rear. That was just painted because I forgot to paint that with the other ones. I got my blue one elsewhere and I need to bring it back because this really blends in right there. It's camouflage. Alrighty. Slip joint side of it goes to the transfer case. And we're going to do just a dry run first, see how this is going to fit in here. So it's nice, we got our lineup dowel here. So we got that mount there, and then we got our trans mount back here. Alright, I'm going to fiddle with this for a minute. This looks kind of finicky. And then I'll bring you guys back so I can fight with this for a second. Please hold. That wasn't too bad. I found if you put the pipe in over here first, it'll actually sit in there pretty good for you. So that looks pretty cool. She just fits in there. So you got a contact point here, here, and here. So I glued it here and here, and I didn't get the back one. Trying to line the drive shafts up and everything. But it did help using CA and a little bit of BSI. Good old Bob here give us a hand. And once I was like trying to hold everything, give it a little spritz, and we're good to go. So yeah, other than that, that looks pretty nice. That fits really good. So we can get our radiator put in. So you got tab here, tab here. So these are basic, your typical Moebius truck. So after this is on, we can put the, they call for the little horns that go on the side here. But as typical of me, I dropped one and I have no idea where it went. Alrighty, right. We'll let that set for a minute. We'll put our radiator hoses on. Upper and lower? I don't know. Definitely the upper, but I don't know what you're going to get the lower. I always have a hard time with those. Probably should have snuck that in there before I put the radiator in. Probably would have been best bet, but once again, I don't read the paperwork, and it says cement drive shaft in place between transfer case assembly and engine. Then cement the engine into chassis. Note, radiator hose needed to be added after engine is installed in the frame, and then you put the radiator in last. So there you have it. Looks like she's not going to get one. Yes. Anyways, that's where we're at. And like I say, I think she's looking pretty good so far. I can probably sneak that hose in there. I can probably get it in there. Here's the thing: is that's one of those things you'll probably never ever see. Yeah, we're not sure, so we'll see. Maybe I'll work on that. I'll see if I can get it snuck in there or not, because it's not a very big part. It's this guy right here, and then we have our upper hose, which is here. These are all painted in the Tamiya rubber black, so those look pretty nice. So once I get those in there, and then we're going to say this is complete for right now, until I can find my other horn, because I do have the one here, but that's as far as I got. I just got that guy. So we paint those gloss black, because that's usually most horns are, or they're more of a, getting like semi-gloss, because the old horns back in the day were like a stamped steel, painted black, but the new ones today are obviously plastic. So it's a plastic world out there. So anyways, that's where we're at so far. I think that's turning out pretty sharp. She's look pretty good. So we're going to let that sit for a minute before we mess with the hoses. And then we're going to get on to paint ready for the cab. So what we're going to do is flat black, the dash, the door panels, the seat. That's all going to get done. We're going to actually do that in the primer. And we're also going to primer the floor pan and the back panel here. So those will be all set to go. And that should be it for interior wise for right now. And then we'll get it somewhat assembled. Because this model kit really doesn't have an actual, like an interior tub. You basically are building it with these components. So that's kind of how that's set up. But it goes together pretty nice. So just make sure a lot of these are cleaned up and should be good to go. Alright, we'll take this over and I'll get this painted up with the primer. So we are using Mr. Hobby 1500 Surfacer SF288. I'm not sure if that's the number or not, but that's the number on the back. The only number I can read anyways. So we're going to use this, and I am like dangerously low on this, so that's my last bottle. So anyways, now we're going to paint the cab and everything in Mr. Hobby Base White, and I am also dangerously low on this. So if anything, I'd switch over to gray, but white just does not cover very good on gray, so we're going to try it with that. And we're going to paint the hood and the cab. Like I say, we're going to sort out some of these boom parts and see what needs to be painted in gloss white. And we'll kind of go from there. The other thing needs to be done in white, and I didn't realize I was painting this. The back of the firewall should be done in white, the color of the cab versus black. I can leave it black, it's not going to hurt it, but I think it'll look better in white. So I'm going to get this mixed up and these painted, and I'll bring you guys back and I'll show you what we got afterwards. Alright guys, so we got the flat black painted. So I went ahead and did the top, the floor pan area, and then the bottom as well. So this is the back of there, and this is for the side, the doors. And we have our dash, and we have our bench seat sitting here. So we're going to let those dry just a little bit longer, and then we're going to go ahead and mix up some red. And we're going to spray this in a cool looking red color. So why I had the black out, because it was the last I had, I went ahead and painted the bumpers. So I'm doing these in the black, and the back one's not going to be color coded because I'd like to use that zebra stripe decal they have, and obviously it's not going to show on white because it is white decal. So we're going to do the bumpers in black on that white. That should look pretty cool. So I am out of this color as well. I'm like out of a lot of stuff. I got to do some restocking up here. So like I said, we're going to use our dull red. So we're going to do the interior nat. So I painted the underneath the hood while I had the black out. And you can almost see, and this is lacquer, which lacquer doesn't usually fisheye, but you can see how that wanted to start fisheyeing in there pretty bad. So it's always these definitely need to be washed before they get painted. So what I'm going to do is mask that off, and then we're going to do it in white. And I did the same thing in here. We did all this, and we're going to let that dry a little bit more, and we're going to mask that all off, and same thing. That way the black will be done. I'd rather paint the white over the black than the black over the white. So, because that'll obviously bleed over pretty easy. So it won't be as bad this way. So we're going to open this up, see what I got. This is kind of pre-mixed, so whatever I have in here, that's all I have left. And that's what we're going to have to play with, is what's in this bottle. So we're just going to set that in there for now, just to let it drip dry the rest of the way out. And we're going to use our flat red. It's like the bottle all we're going to get. Last little drip will get you. So like I said, that was pre-mixed, so I don't have to add any thinner to that. Like I said, that was LP18. So have you guys seen some of my red interiors before? This is how I do it. See, you can see that's too dark and that's too bright. So kind of mix the two together and there you have it. So obviously take this and dip in it here just a little bit. You can see it don't take much to change it. I'm gonna give it a little stir here. And it's just basically mix it to the liking. You know, it's like, it looks good. You see now it's turning more of a, so now once you put it on top of the black, it'll look a little better yet. So we'll go just a little bit more. I don't want too much more. That's probably overdid it. So now we're gonna add just a touch of thinner to it. Like I say, it's already thinned down from the previous color. The dull grays are, or dull red's already thinned. So I don't even know if I need to add any to it. So once again, we're just gonna use the Mr. Hobby Rapid Thinner. Now I'm gonna give it just a drip of thinner, just enough to, because if I go too thin, it's not gonna cover that black. Just a couple drips. Mix that up a little bit and we'll shoot these parts. Like I say, the dash is my most important part. The seats, we're gonna just touch those. The door cards, I'll hit them high up top, but whatever's on the bottom, we'll do those last because I want to make sure we get everything that's going to be more up front before we hit the total bottom part of it. So I'll take you guys with the paint booth with me and we'll spray these out. And we had some paint left over. We can hit the seat one more time. Alright guys, like I say, that gives that a cool look. I just like that. It's more of a subtle, not overly glossy, but just that medium, mild look. I think it looks pretty sharp. So the seats, so with that black primer, really pulls that rib detail out there. I think that looks super cool. So it looks really good. Same as the door cards, those look pretty good. Door panels look nice. That'll be it for the interior. So that'll be sitting on the black here. So that'll look pretty good. They'll look pretty sharp on there. I guess we're going this way with the black floor. Now we left the panel in the back. We left that black also. This guy right here. At this point, we're going to take the cab in the house and we're going to wash this, get it primered, and then we're going to come back out and primer this. And while this is drying in the primer, we're going to assemble the interior. And then once the interior is done, primer should be good to go. We'll give it a light wet sand. So I'm going to take this in and wash it quick, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, so cruising right along. I tell you what, there was a lot of stuff on this, and this feels really nice compared to before. So like I said, they put a lot of stuff on these Moebius kits, like grease or whatever's on there. Mold release stuff for injection, I'm not sure. So I was going to do is I was going to go through the wrecker parts and get them taken care of also. But I am very, very short on my white primer. I was going to do the sides of this in white also, but I'm going to have to wait on this for just a little bit until I can get some primer here in a couple days, and or someplace, or I might just shoot it with white Tamiya, just the lacquer, and go that route. At least it's got a white base underneath of it, because because I don't think I have enough for this stuff here. So now I'm thinking about it, I should just shoot it with the Tamiya and just call it good, because I do have a lot of that here, so that might be my better option. And then just wet sand that a little bit and then go with the other, but dangerously low. But this does mix pretty thick. Guess we'll just dump in a cup and see how much we got left here. I definitely got enough to paint the cab and the hood, but that's probably about it. We're just gonna do that for now anyways, because like I say, there's a lot of parts I gotta go through to see what I want to, you know, to paint first, because I could do a lot of pre-assembly on that as well. So I think we're gonna go that route. So that's what we're using, the Mr. Hobby. This is the 1000. They do make a 1500, so the 1000 is just a little more thinner, for what I understand. Like I say, so it takes a little more to coat it, so it's a little more on the thin side, a little thin in the skin, as Jerry Reed would say on Smoking a Bandit. So anyways, we're going to, before I get too far though, I'm going to tape this off, so we can keep that white out of there. And then I'm going to do the same with under the hood. I'm just going to run some tape along here, because I do want the edge of this hood white. So I'm just going to run some tape along here and inside and just across the back, just to keep it. I'm sure it's going to get a little mist in there, but just to keep the main parts of it clean, I'm going to do is fold that down in there, and then I'll cut the excess off. So we'll use back these. Push that down like so. Now leave me a little edging in there. So I'll just take a knife and trim that. Clean cut there, somewhat clean. And like I say, I'm sure I'm going to get a little bit of bleed over somewhere, because that's usually how it happens. But alright, we should be good to go. Okay guys, before we get too far, I want to just go through and just give it a real quick touch, because the plastic's kind of rough feeling. So we're just going to go just a real quick hit. This is the 3000 Trizac. Just something to smooth it down, just to make sure we got all the harshnesses out of there. And I might do, because I'm looking, those pan lines are really thin on this. I'm going to go through the whole cab, but just kind of the major spots here. A little towel action. Should be good to go. Yeah, I should have did those pan lines just a little bit. So not very deep. But I don't like, no, I'm not going to do it. Because that scriber I got is kind of, it's aggressive. If you slip, and then yikes. So we're just going to let it go. Alright, now we can get the rest mixed up the rest of the way. So we were at 5 milliliters. So we're going to put about 7 milliliters in here. That'll give us plenty of primer. Alright guys, we'll take her over to the booth. I'll get this shot and we'll come back. Okay guys, that painted white primer really don't even look like it's painted, but it's painted. It's real thin. I had to make it last, so that's all we got. So the dashboard, they give you a nice decal for inside here, and I believe that's silver inside. So we're going to go all fancy, and we're going to paint that silver. We'll take Motow on the outside and give it a chrome ring. Same as the chrome buttons here, and then the radio. We're just going to keep it somewhat basic. Should have did a wider brush on this. Alright, we'll leave it like that. And like I say, once that cures out completely, we'll take the Motow and we'll run across there. I think we'll do these buttons just in silver here. So we have our window crank. We got our door piece here. We're going to leave that all red. We'll do the window crank. We'll do that in Motow. I think that looks sharper in the chrome. Maybe it'll be a fancy tow truck and we'll just chrome the outside of that ring also, just to give it a little nicer look to it. Just give it a little cool look to it. We'll first do this guy. I think we'll give it a nice cool look, and we'll just go chrome around the outside here. We got a high-end wrecker here with a fancy interior. They look cool. Yeah, she's high-end. Alright, we're going to do that. And we'll do the key switch. We'll do this little ashtray pull. Maybe I'll go a little on the edge here so it gives that little bit of edging on it. Much better. Isn't it nice? Looks nice. Cool. Yeah, we'll just leave it like that. Just a little bit of color. Throw a decal on there and we should be good to go. We'll put a little bit of microset in there and we'll call that good. So I like using this little brush here for this stuff. These are those little tester brushes. I get them at Hobby Lobby. It works really good. They come like a pack of 10 or 12 or something like that. But got just enough bristle on there to hold so it's not overbearing. Just enough to do the job. By tomorrow morning, that should look nice. Alright, so we'll assemble this interior. So your interior has this part here, which is your pedals go into. I painted it, I don't know why. So we got our pedals. We have our shifters. So I put a little bit of rubber black on the bottom and did the four-wheel drive shifter in white, a little white ball on it. We got our steering column, did that in gloss black, and then my steering wheel is done in rubber black, so I give it a nice little contrast. And I believe there's a decal that goes in the end of that. Yeah, I wish that decal sheet that would give you different colors, like the service part in white and in black. But apparently you're supposed to just paint it the same color. So I see they don't give you holes for this. So there's a small wrecker control box that I didn't know about. Number 512, the control box for the wrecker. So we're just going to take and hit that with a little bit of flat black Tamiya. The other thing this truck is missing is a CB radio. Should add one. That's what's missing. Some CB radio and some nice antennas. That would look cool. We may add that. So most of the time I know this Ford emblem isn't really blue inside of here. It's just molded into the steering wheel. Beautiful. Hit this a little bit of CA. Okay, we got that. So we get our seat put in. It sits in there real nice. I love a red interior. Yes, sir. Looks good. Alright, we can put the back panel in, which should be black in color somewhere. So before we get too far, I gotta drill some holes for these shifters because there's no holes in here for them. We'll just get the big bit out. Just go big all the way and just be done with it. So I know the floor shifter one should be about here. And the four-wheel drive one, we'll put that up here. Leave that guy about here. Don't want to reaching too far for it. Glued this together. Just makes it easier. The nice thing about these Moebius trucks, if you've never built one, they give you a little piece here, and there's a notch here in the back, so it's pretty bulletproof to install. And then you get a tab here, and there's a tab in the front. Makes it pretty simple. So we put the pedals in, glued those down. So those look pretty good, but the dash looking pretty nice. So before we put all this in, we're going to put our steering column in, and then we're going to set the dash down into place. Let's let that dry for a second. So my white primer, I think I'm going to leave it sit overnight before I do anything else to it. So I can see it still kind of has it's dry, but I can tell it's probably a little wet underneath. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to finish the interior up on this video, and we'll call it good for tonight on this, and we'll try it again another day. So it's looking really nice on that dashboard, looking outstanding. So we're going to move the cluster out of the way for a minute. We'll get this dashboard put in. So like I say, you got these nice tabs, so we're just going to give a little shot in the back here. A little shot in the back. Like I say, this guy should fit nicely in here in these tabs. Easy as can be. Then we can line our tab up in the front, and we're good to go. Okay, so we got that back lined in there good. So I'll just take and tab this front, pull him out just a little bit. Like so. And now we can just tab these two sides in and we're good to go. So that's why sometimes I like just tabbing the one side together, let it sit for a minute, let it dry. It's just easier to work with instead of trying to manhandle the whole thing. Give that a second or so to dry. We'll get that dash in here and that'll wrap that up. Okay, so we got our steering wheel assembly, just like the assembly line. We'll do a dry fit, make sure everything looks good. And there we have it. One assembled interior for our Moebius tow truck. So the thing I got left is I had to put the control box in. All right, guys, other than that, I'm going to wrap this up for tonight. She's coming along pretty good. So we didn't get a whole lot done, but hey, we got that interior done. So we're not looking too bad. So other than that, guys, I appreciate you tuning in, checking out the channel, and we will see you guys on the next build. So watch out for video number 3, and we'll get this painted next time around and kind of go from there. So I appreciate you guys watching, tuning in, and we will see you on the next video. Have a good one. We'll see you.